What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach podcast. Wolfie here, and today we're doing the round 2 wrap-up. I'd like to apologize, obviously, to everyone that I did start the round 2 wrap-up live stream last night. Unfortunately, I had to end it about 10-15 minutes in because my son woke up. Family things, it happens. So yeah, sorry about that to those who were in there and we were having a chat. And yeah, let's get into the round 2 wrap up here. But before we do, thank you very much for the support as of late in the last month or so. YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. It really does help for the algorithm, and also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. If you could kindly leave a 5-star review, I would really appreciate it. It helps me as I'm on the platforms as a new content creator, and yeah, it really does help. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Also, if you haven't joined the Rage Traders 1K League, $1,000 up for grabs. All you have to do is be a subscriber, to my YouTube channel, The Rage Traders, and you can win $1,000 if you come first place. So the code is 739499. That's 739499. That will be in the YouTube description as well. All right, let's talk about my team quickly. I won't go on about it too much. The Supercoach did just unlock for me. So in our league, I did go up 209 points, all green arrows for me, which is good to see. 12.99 I've updated to, which I'm happy with, to be honest with you, because I haven't traded at all. I still have all my boosts left, no trades, so I'm happy with that. And this is going to be, I think, a boost week for me. It may not be, but likely will be. I've gone up 11,200 spots to 34,906 rank. Pretty happy with that, considering that it was a wild start to Supercoach, and I think a lot of people shot out. But yeah, some big news, some big injuries, and some big trades need to come. We're going to be talking about the must-haves. Obviously, this is all my opinion, but the must-haves, the must-trades, and obviously people I think who are possible holds. So that'll be good as well. So I'll just go over my team quickly. I mean, I know you know my team, but I'll just go over a bit of the sore points now. I think very happy with my front row forward line. So my Haas, Mooney, Colo, Arama Howe. Super happy with that. I don't even think I want to look at getting Paseka or Flegler in. Flegler had a bit of a rib injury, but Paseka, you know, Manly is Manly. I get Paseka's going to make cash, but I think I'd just rather have Arama Howe in there. He looks good. He was still close to trying against the Dolphins as well, literally like held up over the line where I think he should have scored, but he kind of, I just think he did something incorrectly. I don't need to go on about it, but he was so close to scoring, and he's very close to just getting a 70-ish one game. So really nice there. Reed Money's a big topic here because only played about 56, 57 minutes. Sonny Luke was named at the 14, I think it was, and came on for the remainder of the game, but looked abysmal. I expect Reed Money to be an 80-minute hooker this next game against the Titans, so I'm inclined to hold him. It's dependent on the team list, because if I see Sonny Luke named at 18, 19, then I'm just going to hold Reed Money. If I see Sonny Luke named at the 14, 15, 16, 17, I think it's just a straight Harry Grant trade. But again, Harry Grant has the Broncos, then he has North Queensland. So it's very interesting, but I don't want to waste and do too many trades in the hooker position. The big talking point, I think, is a lot of people talking about Isaiah Yao. Limited minutes. They've said that he's going to have limited minutes because of Jack Cogger, but I'm thinking we could maybe hold one more week because Jack Cogger copped a HIA. I think it was category 1 for memory, and they're versing the Sydney Roosters, which will be a very, very big game, very grindy match. And I think Yo could play 80 minutes for this. We'd have to wait and see the team list, but just be aware of that. And a lot of people will move him. Obviously, we're not going to see trades yet. We'll do that in maybe a next video. The big one is Toby Couchman for me. It's quite obvious, as you saw from the Melbourne game, that Ryan Couchman just looks to be the guy with Hamish Stewart. Toby Couchman did come off with a niggling injury, although I thought it wasn't that. He actually did, which is the only sort of silver lining, because if there was no injury, he'd be a definite trade. I still think he is pretty much close to a trade for me. His break even now sits at 70. By the way, Reed Marnie's break even sits at 39, being someone who is only $418,100. That really, really hurts. I'm going to do a separate video also about the break evens, the players with the most negative break evens, and who we should really look at getting in. So we'll do that in a separate video. I won't go on about that too much here. Sam Walker has been underperforming in a sense, but I think that's a bit of a DCE thing, but also just other halfbacks are doing well, so I have to closely look at that. KL Iro, I'm pretty close to holding. It's, 123 break even is not what I want to see though. But with their draw, it's kind of like I just really need to think deep about this one. But I'll have a look. I mean, I really like the thought of like a Will Warbrick, just guaranteed sort of cash, maybe come back to Iro, maybe just wait to see how the Sharks look. But yeah, we'll speak about that in the wrap-up. But all in all, in my team, I held on to Purdue, I held on to Pezzett, I held on to Jesse Colquhoun. I haven't traded once. Noah Martin was in my starting team. I'm very happy with my cheapies. Super, super happy, to be honest with you. So I'm in a good position to just start gaining cash, gaining momentum, and just need to get the right players in and hold the right players. That's all it is at the moment. Early days, and we'll go from there. Let's get into the wrap up. This is the complete round 2 wrap up for you guys. We're going to start with the Broncos and the Eels and everything. This is where I will cover who I think are must trade ins, people that we put on the watch list, people who I think should be trade outs as well. Now, very lucky here. I had Carrigan as well, who's someone I started with. He had a bit of a rough first game, but so did Broncos in the whole. As a whole, he gets 83 points with a try assist and a line break assist to Payne Haas that scored. Both of them are in my team, which was absolutely amazing. But on top of that, Reece Walsh, he gets upgraded to a 99. I did say you should captain Reece Walsh. I think you'll live with that. He honestly should have been 100 plus this game. He had some weird knock-ons. Just Reece Walsh things where he has a very high floor and a very low ceiling in terms of just a game performance. Like sometimes he'll do something amazing, and then sometimes he'll just like do a Luke Brooks and drop it off a kickoff or drop it off a kick, and you're like, how? So that's just how his game is. Adam Reynolds getting a 98, but did cop an injury, so we have to wait for more news on that. If anyone knows, just drop it in the comments. Staggs got 2 tries this game and only gets a 59. He's an instant out for me. If you do own him, Ezra Mam looked absolutely horrible on the defensive end this game. I think if you're an Ezra Mam owner, I would honestly just get rid of him. Although the 5'8" position is a bit iffy, I do think Purdue is the guy. I really do. There are maybe others we can speak about, but with Cowboys versus the Titans this week, I think Purdue has shown why he's the go-to guy. Obviously, you can chase the negative break-evens of Braden Trindle or Cody Walker if you like, but I wouldn't be someone just to go chase them now. And nothing else much to do with the Broncos besides maybe Shibasaki. I'm so happy I didn't start with him. I mentioned him as a pod. I thought he'd be much better. He only got a 20 in 80 minutes. That's just wild to me in a Broncos team that scored 32 points. If you're on Shibasaki, you have to get rid of him. What's his break even? I'm going to say his break even is negative 146. Sorry, not negative. Okay, so his break-even is 158, not negative 158, or else that would be an instant in. 158, that is, projected loss of 92,000. You got to get rid of him. Now, talking about the Eels, geez, I think we saw the Eels really, and this is 2 weeks now, of Eels really just going right a lot. I think that's very good for, like, your Penasini owners. Obviously, he didn't play this game, but Kelma Tuolagi gets 113 points. Iongi looks super comfortable going right and left, but just on the right side looks really good, getting a 99. He's someone who I think we must have on our watch list, even someone you could possibly trade in now. 36 break even, $640,800. I mean, not as good as a Suafar logo. If you don't have him, he's most probably a must that we'll get into later. Moses gets a 65, so that's what you're happy to see. But with 40 points on the Eels name and someone who is the goal kicker, that's still very low scoring for me. And I've said this before, I just don't think Moses is a super coach player in terms of just the points he gets back for what he does on the field. That's just me, my opinion though. Nothing else much here to talk about for the Eels. If you are a Sean Russell owner, because he did have a great start, I'd still hold him because they do have St. George this week. And I think it's just interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if they go left a bit more. Like now that Addo Carr's back, but even in this game, they still went right with Addo Carr there. So yeah, it's very interesting. They just love their right side a bit. So that's something we're going to have to focus on. But again, wrap up for the Broncos Parramatta Eels game, 40 points to 32. The Eels get the win in a massive, massive upset. Let's talk about the next game. The Warriors, the Wars, up the Wars versus the Raiders. 40 points to 6, the Warriors win. And I think this has been the talk of the town. I don't think anyone expected the Warriors not to win both games, but to come out and actually dominate both games. I think it's actually been a superb performance by Tanner Boyd, someone who I have said really shouldn't be in the NRL, and I will own it when I'm wrong. This guy, maybe it was just the Titans effect, but this guy has absolutely stepped into the boots of Luke Metcalf and, gone into sixth gear immediately, and he's reveling in it. Now, what is his break even? Because he is a possible target from Sam Walker, a negative 41 break even for Tanner Boyd. That is something I'm going to look at heavily. If I can think of going from Tanner Boyd, right? And I know I'll burn a trade for this, but Tanner Boyd, a negative 41 break even. You go Tanner Boyd, and then you look at targeting Nathan Cleary. That is something I would really, really look at. Let me just go to the draw quickly because we'll look at the Warriors draw, which I think the next two games are quite good. I think they have West Tigers and somebody else. Let me check here. So they have Newcastle away. Now, remember, Newcastle, a lot of injuries. Now, if Fletcher Sharp is back, that is going to be a boost for them. But if Fletcher Sharp isn't back, boy, oh boy, I think you load up on Leka Halasima. I think you load up on Tanner Boyd. Now, what my plan was and what I was looking at is, obviously Penrith are playing phenomenally. They're playing at a premiership level already. They have Sydney Roosters, Parramatta, Melbourne. Now, I have no issue. If you can do it, I would look at getting a Tanner Boyd in and trying to get a Cleary in. Now, if you can't do that, obviously that's a lot to ask for with the amount of adjustments we have to play in. I understand that if you want to go straight to Cleary against Roosters away, coming into Parramatta and Melbourne. But for now, let's keep it talking about the Warriors, right? Tanner Boyd playing at a level that we haven't seen before. The Warriors are playing at a level where they're in great momentum and they're coming in against the Newcastle Knights and then West Tigers at home, which should be still a bit of a points game. Against Sharks away, then Melbourne away, which are two tough games, into Gold Coast, Dolphins, Parramatta, and bye. The Warriors could be the team where... This is the only thing that scares me. We know Warriors at home are a different beast. I'm really curious to see how they play away now. Are they going to be the same team? Is it going to be the old Warriors? Because if that's the case, that's a bit worrying, pun intended. But it's just going to be something that we have to monitor. Now, if you want to chase this Tanner Boyd break even, it's going to be so like entertaining and curious to see how people approach their trades this week. One thing I've always said about fantasy is I wish we didn't see what every other trades were. I just don't like that, but that's just me. Also, we have to speak about Jackson Ford. Now, if you're someone that has started with a Tino, Jackson Ford at $588,200 could be someone you look at doing or getting in. 78 minutes in round two with a 60 plus in base for the second consecutive week. This is obviously something that's been aided by the Mitch Barnett injury. This is something where he stepped into the role. Him and who's the other gentleman that absolutely has been dominating? James Fisher-Harris. Now, obviously, Fisher-Harris hasn't performed to the level of Ford, but still very, very good. Their front row has been doing absolutely well. And we have to also remember that the Raiders are pretty good in their forwards category as well. So Tarpanay, Horsburgh, these guys are no small fish. So for them to come out and really just dominate is really, really good to see. And I think it was more of a second half domination from what I heard. But again, Jackson Ford is someone who you should and could be looking at. Aaron Clark and 80, that's what you love to see. Ali Leatawa, that's the up, sort of the ceiling you get for him in these type of games. He can produce very low lows, but then here you get him with a 75, which is huge. Break even still a 43. I wouldn't jump there. Nothing much. Maybe Dallin Wateni Zalesniak, 28 break even now at 402,900. I still wouldn't jump there. The injury to this game as well, Chanel Harris-Tavita, I don't know what the diagnosis is of that, but again, for them to come in and sort of have that injury and then still dominate like this just shows what type of unit they are and becoming. So that's really good to see. Raiders, Noah Martin, 66. If he's not in your team, you have to get him in or else you are losing fantasy pretty much. Simi Sasagi gets an 84. That's really nice to see if you are a Simi Sasagi owner, but again, I'm not rushing to him. He does have the duality of 2RF and CT dubs as well, which is super nice. Kind of like your Bo Fermor of last year who had that, or it was the Bo Fermor of last year who had 2RF and CT dubs. Ethan Strange, 62. Hudson Young, 58. I think you're going to kind of be a bit off. Hudson Young now has a 94. We spoke about Canberra having a bit of a tough opening draw. They now have the Bulldogs. I think Hudson Young is a possible trade, but that is completely up to you. Obviously, someone like Tino is a must trade out compared to a Hudson Young, though. Horsburgh with a 58. Tarpanay, who's been very underwhelming, 57. I'd be getting rid of him for sure. Someone like Trey Mooney, even Jackson Ford. There's just a plethora of choices you can go to, but Tarpanay's just been underperforming in my opinion. And Ethan Sanders, if you're an owner, live with it. 40-6, and he has 40 points. Basically, gets a 39. I think you'll live with that. So again, they have the Bulldogs. That's going to be a bit rough to see, but just take your cash and have him sitting in the corner. There is a chance I go Ethan Sanders to Daniel Atkinson next week. So I go. If you are an Ethan Sanders owner and you held him, you could basically go get the money, whatever it is from Bulldogs. You could hold if you want, but then you can go to Atkinson, who after basically this game, he'll go Parramatta, Gold Coast, North Queensland, Manly, South. That's a really nice run where I think I will try and target Atkinson. And I might be right and I could be wrong for it, but we'll have to wait and see. Sebastian Chris, 38. Nothing else much here to talk about with the Canberra Raiders. Hosking, 45. But I think Hosking came off the bench this game. Unfortunately, these were the two games I didn't get to watch, which was the Warriors and the Roosters game. But let's go to the Roosters now. Oh, we should also say Laban, 48. Good to see. I think he had 60 minutes, and then Leka Halasima had a full 80. So that's really good news to see. If Halasima gets 80 minutes again with a break even of 14, I think he's someone I'm just going to get in my team. I really do. He just needed the minutes. We've spoke about it in preseason. And I think if the coach doesn't have Halasima playing 80 minutes, people will be questioning that. So he's a very, very big target for me at the moment. Roosters versus Rabbitohs, 26-18. Let me just close my studio door because the dog is barking. 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right. Sorry for the podcast listeners there, but I didn't know if you could hear that dog barking and I didn't want you to. All right, so DCE tops with 78 in Roosters 26-18 win. That is absolutely wild. I did not expect that, but it is what it is. Tedesco with a 67. For those that are wondering what's happening here, I really do think Rabbitohs and Roosters, they're two... I'm not going to say Rabbitohs are a good defensive team, but this is like that grudge match where, things get tight and the Supercoach scores don't relate to the actual score of the game. Like when you see 26-18 to a team, you think, oh, someone would have got 100. But no one. Latrell Mitchell highest as well for 84. Big talking points here, I think, is... people thought that maybe Latrell Mitchell would have up and down games. I just think he's a must-have now. I really do. It's not to say that his scores are... I shouldn't say he's a must-have in this round, but he's a must-have in general as just he's going to be... he should be a top 4 center wing position. He's the kicker. He's in a center position. And with the little that he does so much with it. And that's what the scariest thing is about him. Now, one injury to Jai Gray, he just gets slotted back to fullback and then boom, his price goes up even more. So there's little things that could happen there. Tedesco with a 67, I think he's someone that you have to sort of look at maybe getting rid of now. They come against the Penrith Panthers with 115 break even at a 869,000 price tag. He's just someone you got to get rid of. I don't think he's going to do 115 plus or anything close to that against the Panthers. But I've seen crazier things. Sua Wong, Someone who we should monitor. Again, I don't think you bring him in yet, but monitor him. See how he plays against the Panthers. I don't think he's going to be a crazy score against them, but I think slowly and slowly as the season goes on, Suo Wong will be someone who we do have in our team at some point. Toya back, 54, nice to see. The big talking point for me, 2 talking points, is Crichton and Walker. So Angus Crichton just doesn't look to be that. And I've spoken about it before, so I don't know why I went with him in NRL fantasy, but it's someone who I'm trading out now in NRL fantasy. But he just doesn't have that workhorse ethic, that fear running man. You know, in the Origin when he just runs and he just shows no fear and he's like, I'm not scared of you, Maroons. And it's like, you don't see that anymore in his regular NRL season. And with what we have available to us in the 2RF, it's just, why would you take a chance on someone who is so attack reliant? Like when he doesn't score the try, he's like a 40 to 50 guy. Like this game, it's good to see a 53, but like with what's on offer, I think you just have to get rid of him. I think he's a trade. Sam Walker, again, if he didn't have the goal kicking, gosh, he would be the biggest trade out this week. Because he has that, his score stays kind of relevant. But coming into the Panthers, look, I'll be one to say it. I'm a content creator. I tell you who I think's a great pick. I tell you who I think's a pod. Sam Walker was one of those, and I just expected him to maybe retain the role a bit more and obviously just be a bit more attack heavy in these games where the points are so not so high, but higher than usual. So we're not seeing that. Obviously, they had a very, very rough game 1. To see them win is good here, but the draw into the bye. So if you didn't know, they're coming into the Penrith Panthers, right? And then they have a bye after Manly. So round 4, they're going to have Manly, who are 0-2 coming off a bye. And then they have a bye in round 5 into Sharks away. So for me, I'm just like, I'll just sit him out. Maybe he's a second half of the season type guy and go from there. Nothing much else to talk about for the Roosters. Like if you're a Blake Steep owner, get rid of him. Luelu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the hooker that's replaced Reece Robson. 20 points. I mean, you'll live with it. Hold him there. Where everyone who held on to Brandon Smith, we're just waiting for him to come back. Naf White, he's a trade out for sure for me. Connor Watson, if you have him, get him out, in my opinion. He's just, the minutes. I think he should be on 80 minutes on this team. I'm still baffled by it. I really am. I think he should be just starting hooker and then move to like a utility position. I'm not understanding the coaching around that. I really am not. He is a Origin player. He's someone who can break a game open. He's someone who's fit as well, and that is actually relevant when you have these 6 agains and the new rules. So that's something I'm just not understanding. But again, I'm not a coach and I'm not an analyst, but that's just my opinion. Let's talk about South. So Cameron Murray has been amazing, but the problem is, if you want to attack Cameron Murray, that's one extra South player in your team with a 39 break even. I think you can just hold for like until their bye, which is in round 4. So they have West Tigers next week at home. It's going to be a massive game, but they then have the Bulldogs into the Raiders, St. George, Melbourne away, Newcastle away. So I would just wait till after the bye, although I think Cameron Murray has looked really, really good. Colo, 66, love to see it. Fafita, 67, that's what you were expecting and that's what you get. Alex Johnston, we don't need to speak about that too much. Absolutely amazing scenes. Congrats to all the South supporters and just NRL supporters in general for getting to witness that. We spoke about Latrell Mitchell. Graham has done what Graham does. I think Jai Gray has been, maybe people expected a bit more from him, super coach-wise, I should say. And if 46, I think he's someone you get out immediately, especially with what's available to us in the fullback scenario. Again, I think Aitken went down with an injury. Tallis Duncan at 36, that's unfortunate for you Tallis Duncan owners. And then nothing else much there, guys, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be talking about anyone else in the South team besides maybe Fafita, Colo, Latrell Mitchell, and partly at times Cam Murray, Jai Gray. All right, let's go to the Tigers and Cowboys. My Cowboys getting absolutely decimated, which I predicted. Unfortunately, I didn't have Chester as my reserve, but he gets a 74. The big watch this week will be, does he retain his position with a negative 68 break even? And if he doesn't, do you still hold him? I doubt you do, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Get to try this game. I think the Purdue hold, a lot of people are going to revel in that. I'm one of them. I'm very happy. Again, I spoke about him just being a round 2 look. For him to get 73 points in a game where they lose 44-16, in a game where they looked abysmal in defense, he just has this ability to strike brilliance out of nowhere, kind of like a Far Logo, but like obviously a bit lesser. Tier obviously being in a center position. So yeah, that was really good to see from Purdue. He's definitely a hold. Drinkwater, do you hold now because of the Ponga injury? It's a very, very tough question to answer, to be honest with you. If I was a Drinkwater owner with the 171 break even coming into the Gold Coast Titans, who held Dolphins to 0 points at halftime, but then versing St. George Broncos para, I think people are really overlooking how tough of a decision this is, because if you don't have Far Logo, it's easy to go there. You just go, okay, I'm going to go Drinkwater Far Logo and hold who I have. But if you have a Ponga, or if you held on to Drinkwater, it's going to be interesting to think, where do I go? Or do I just go to a flex position where I just get in maybe a halfback who's performing well, or someone with the break even? Maybe I go to just a Leka Halasima, something like that. So this is going to be very, very interesting. The problem is that Drinkwater looked abysmal in the first half, especially defensively. I don't know if you watched the game, but the second try, for him to stand there and just watch someone go to the ground in slow motion and Adam Doueihi get his try, it was really, really heart-wrenching to see. But yeah, I think maybe with the 171 break even, I think a lot of people, was like 15,000 traded him out last week. Maybe it wasn't that much, but yeah, a lot traded Drinkwater out last week. I wonder if they traded him out for Ponga. That hurts. But again, we'll have to wait and see if Cowboys change their tune. I think Peyton will be gone very, very soon. I've been speaking about it all preseason, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Heilum Luki, 57 points. I think he's someone you can go to. It's a very, very interesting decision because he's 404,000 with a negative 25 break even coming into the Titans. That's very, very juicy. Although I love Leka Halasima, I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed money here. So that's someone who I would look at heavily. Clifford had a nice game. I think he is just someone who plots away, gets his points, but not super coach relevant. Reed Marnie, we've spoken about him, but I really need to see the team list and what it looks like this week. Did him with the 31. I expect this number to be a lot higher coming up against the Titans, but again, I don't know what the Cowboys are offering. Sonny Luke, honestly, I don't even know what to say about this guy. He looked really bad when he came on. Just poor hands from a hooker is just really good in terms of just like knocking a ball on when you're trying to grab it and stuff like that. I just think that stuff is just a killer, and I think Reed Marnie should just be playing 80 minutes. I don't understand what Peyton's doing. It's not Reed Marnie's fault that the team is getting whopped by like 30-ish points. It just let him. He came there to be an 80-minute player. Let him be an 80-minute player. The issues and the problems are nothing to do with that. Bringing Sonny Luke onto the team is not going to be the reason we even make a comeback anyway. Let's talk about the Tigers. Absolutely huge scores here. Doueihi, 115. Jerome Luai, 115. Samuel Fainu, 109. Kai Pearce-Paul, 98. And Skelton, 94, with Lalili, 94 as well. Let's speak about Doueihi. I really wish I had my Ethan Sanders Doueihi combo, because I would have absolutely reveled in this. He is someone who we can heavily, heavily look at. Again, the Tigers come into versing South away into New Zealand away. So I'm very, very curious to see how Tigers perform away. But on top of that, I mean, 115 is a huge, huge score. And I think he is going to be online to be one of the best halfbacks of the season. He looks really good in that position. Luai, don't expect this every week. 115 though, kind of like a Trindle scenario. Although I do think he looks better than a Trindle in terms of like his kicking game. He's very bursty. I mean, he's just really good at try assists. I just think, again, him and Trindle can be on par at times with their scores. So I wouldn't overextend onto this. Learn from the Trindle thing and obviously the Cody Walker thing, and just see what happens. You've got another round to evaluate. If Luai comes out and drops a 70, well, maybe he's just an easy cash grab. Maybe he's a cash grab we didn't see coming, and all of a sudden you're stuck because you've already traded 1 or 2 times in the 5/8 position for no reason. Kai Pearce-Paul looks much better in this team. I think don't read into it as much as what people are reading into it. A 98 is huge for him, but on top of that, he scored 2 tries. On top of that, the Cowboys defense was awful. On top of that, he went through a gaping hole. Then it was a nice grubber kick where the defense just wasn't there. So I just want to see, because at the time of him scoring his first try, his points were 17 points, meaning the try gave him 17 points for memory, and he literally didn't do much in the game. So I just want to wait and see how he sort of develops and looks in this team in an overall consistent basis. But again, this is what you wanted to see, and people spoke about him. I spoke about him as a pod. Him unlocking or being unlocked for this Tigers team is exactly what you see now, and it's exactly what you get. So if you did start with him, congratulations, because you just reaped massive benefits off that. Skelton came on for Taylor May's injury. So that's going to be very interesting to see. La Lily also looked very good in the wing at times. Starting off the game looked very bad, but again, very, very good to see how he's played. Terrell May, 78. So he got upgraded heavily, I think, but a 94 break even, 811,300. Looked insanely good in the first 30, 40 minutes of the game. Had a bit of a stint, so you just want to watch the minutes there, but geez, he looked very, very good in this game. I wonder if he can be just as effective, just because, not just as effective, but he can be super effective with more energy because he's playing less minutes. So that's going to be interesting. Makasini, I think it's a big talking point, but scoring 48 in a center position where you really didn't see a lot of the ball, kind of like a mini Herbie Farnworth, where Herbie didn't really get any assist tries against the Titans, but just plots away for his score. I think Makasini could be that type of player, but I'd prefer him on the wing. So something I'm looking at heavily here and just going to monitor. Abby Coruscant, 40. Or was that Samuel Afenu that got 109? Yes, it was. Sorry, just making sure it was the right Fainu. Sione Fainu with a 32. Seyfarth, 24, coming off the bench. Taylor May, obviously, unfortunately, if you have him for the 7 points he had, he was a massive pod this season. I think this is super, super unfortunate. I think it was a shoulder injury for memory. He's a trade out immediately for you guys, especially with the break even he'll produce, even if he came back, but I don't think he is. Let's go to the Dragons versus Storm. So if you look at this score and didn't watch the game, you'd be like, oh, it's another Storm route. This game was super close for about 45, 50 minutes. It was about a 4-point game. And then sort of the gates opened up, the Storm gates got unlocked, and then there you go. So the biggest talking point, 2 talking points here for me, Harry Grant and Surfar Logo. Surfar Logo, if you don't have him in, it's time. A negative 110 break even. If you don't get him in your team, you're literally throwing away your fantasy for the season. Get him in. You made a mistake. It's cool. It happens. You took a gamble. You took a risk. Okay, it's bit you in the butt. Get him in. Negative 110 break even. He scored 155 points this game. I think it was for 3 tries for memory. This guy was absolutely phenomenal and out of nowhere just did things on his own. The 180 spin he did to score a try looked absolutely insane. If you haven't watched the highlights, go watch the highlights of the game. You'll understand why he's a massive trade-in. Harry Grant. Now, this is something that I'll have to own. I didn't think he'd be putting up points like this, but he just seems to find a way to the try line. Negative 11 break even. Now, is that something we go out and search for straight away? I don't know what my take is on this at the moment. Now, I think if Reed Marnie, if I see a Sonny Luke in the 18-19, I'm going to be less inclined to go to a Harry Grant. Now, I know that he's got a negative break even, but I just don't want to chop and change in to this too much. The problem is he also versus North Queensland in round 4. How high can he go? Can he just be that 60-point player, or is he going to continue doing this like 190 type of scores? It's very interesting. Another big topic here. I have to mull myself and just sit back and think about this for Harry Grant, because he's getting line breaks, he's getting tries, and that's going to boost up his score super well. He's definitely underpriced, so I have to monitor. Who would I rather have from now to round 12 or 11? It's definitely Harry Grant, so maybe that answers my question. Will Warbrick, another 93. Really wish I started with him because he was in my team at one point, but yeah, that it just is what it is. Now, Supercoach is bugging out on me. Let's see what Warbrick's. Why is it not showing Warbrick's? Is Supercoach down? Well, let's talk about Warbrick. We know he had one of the biggest changes in the scoring changes while we wait for Supercoach to come back up. He had a 10-point increase, if you didn't know, from the old changes from Fox Stats to NRL. And because of that, there was some excitement for him. I think if you started with him now, you're absolutely over the moon. I spoke about this a bit, but with the Xavier Coates injury, I think it propelled or just made them go right a bit more, because Meaney being on the left, he's not really a chip kick target. He's not really someone you look at playing. I might even have to grab my phone here if Supercoach has gone down on my computer, but that's something we can't really adjust to. Let's see if it's fixed itself up. Sorry for those listening on the audio podcast, but Supercoach is doing Supercoach things. All right, let's see here. Will Warbrick, are you fixed? Yes. A negative 28 break even for Warbrick. Now, based off the scoring, he is averaged at around about a 50 player based off the 10 points. Now, he sometimes gets around 40 to 45. With his recent scores, he's sitting at negative 28 break even at $413,700. Do you chase that? Potentially. I mean, you're guaranteed to make money. It's just, do you want to invest more in a cheapie? I don't know. I wonder if you just let the Warbrick thing happen. Something, again, I have to really, really think about, but that is a decision you'll have to make. But geez, he does look good. He looks healthy. He's still doing line breaks. He's still attacking the line, and he's getting tries. So that's all you need to be as a winger for the Melbourne Storm. Big talking point here, Stefano Otoi-Kamanu, 81 points with a break even of 16. A 61-minute stint for him, 58 points in base. That was absolutely insane. Then he comes out, really not offloading a bit, but just looks like he's just into the position now, understands his role, understands, I think, that he's actually a menace to be versing against. Like, I think he's finally understanding that he's actually a beast. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, the tackle breaks are there. I wish he could just unleash and offload a bit. If he did, he'd turn into Payne Haas 2.0. I really do think that. But yeah, he's someone you can look at, comparing Otoi-Kamanu to a Jackson Ford. That's a really interesting topic. I think I would lean into like Otoi-Kamanu just because, Mitch Barnett is coming back to the team. There's things like that there. And obviously Warriors had games at home where, Storm are going away and producing these type of scores as well. Lasardi, 77. I should have put the reserve on him. I didn't. It's a mistake. I'll live with it. I move on. But I'm so happy he's in my team. This guy is just an absolute base beast and workhorse. And 77, you love to see it. He now sits at a negative 80 break even. I think he's someone that, if he is named in the team list, with the Sean Bloor injury coming through, it should be likely. Even Trent Loiero coming back. I don't know if I'm Craig Bellamy, which I'm clearly am not. I'm more inclined to put Joe Chan to the bench and be an impact player, and Lasardi and Loiero start for the team. That's what I would do, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens. I don't know exactly when Trent Loiero is due back. If someone maybe in the comments could let me know, that would be great, but we'll have to monitor and watch this. But hopefully Lasardi can just make us some cash, which he should likely do. Hughes with a 73, consistent, good to see. I still think there's better halfback picks out there, but geez, he's been good and he's been consistent, and you love to see it. Munster, 60, that's where he sort of lives some of the time. 75. I think you still hold him. I don't think he's someone you just go to and trade out. You started with Munster for a reason, live with it. But when they're scoring so many points and him getting only 60, can be a bit of a worry. Chan with 51, he's going to be at a negative 40 break even. I don't think he's someone I just chase after. I'd rather go for Ryan Couchman, who I don't have. And I don't know the situation with Trent Liero and what's going to happen there, so we have to monitor that. Moses Leo gets an absolute junk try. You are very, very well saved, but a negative 69 break even. I didn't play him this game, but yeah, he was sitting very low on the points and got away with murder, but you'll live with it and you'll be very happy if he's in your team. Again, negative 69 break even, so you're loving that. Nick Meaney hasn't been the pod, but again, I didn't expect him to go to left wing. But yeah, that's just something you got to live with. I think he's a must out for your team. There's just too much of better choices there, especially at lower prices. Kamika has been really good, but I don't think, even though he's got a negative 9 break even, I wouldn't go there. Again, we've got such a plethora of choices and he gets limited minutes where I don't think you'd rush to that. Talking about the Dragons, Valentine Holmes gets 2 tries for a 94. His break even is 83. The draw does start slightly opening up for St. George. Again, we spoke about this. Parramatta away, Gold Coast away, North Queensland, Manly, and North Queensland, Manly at home, then South away. This is something that I think I could definitely target with Valentine Holmes. And I think something that we really do need to consider. Like if you said to me, who would you rather have in your team at the moment? Is it a KL Iro or a Valentine Holmes? I'm definitely saying Valentine Holmes. 1, because he's a goal kicker. 2, because Dragons haven't looked too bad this season. I know they lost by 26 points to the Storm, but still, they put up a good fight. Another, I know it's 2 tries to Valentine Holmes' name, but I think Dragons are a team that can put up the points. It's just going to be interesting to see if they have any changes. But yeah, we'll have to monitor that. Again, the draw opens up for them. I think they'll snag, 2 out of 4 wins out of the next 4 games. And we'll have to just see who the centers are and the people we can get. Now, are you more safer going a KL Iro down to a Will Warbrick instead of Valentine Holmes? Yes, you are more safer, but you are lowering the chance of you getting closer to these 100-point scores. But again, Will Warbrick looks really, really good, and he's just getting easy tries and easy points. So that's something you have to sort of weigh up. Jaden Sewer looks really, really good. The base is there. Break even of 46 as well. 80 minutes on the edge, 60 plus in base stats, and he offloaded. It's just really, really good to see. I think he's going to be someone that might be a bit of a pod as well, so we'll have to look at that. Moses Sully 75, that's really good. I still wouldn't go there. Ryan Couchman 69, I think he's an absolute must-have, especially if his brother, Toby Couchman, is down with an injury. That's just like an auto include for me. Damien Cook, 62. I wouldn't go there anymore. Little should be back next week, which I think should do them a lot of favors. Leilua, 62. That's really good for someone who's basically didn't do a whole lot. I think Supercoach has gone down again. No, it did not. 18 break even for Luciano Leilua. Nice to see, but I think someone like a Leka Halasima, there was another 2RF we spoke about before that. Helam Luki. I think those two are just way over Leilua in terms of what they can do, in terms of where they're at currently in Supercoach. So I'd go there. Atkinson with a 59. I think if you traded out Atkinson to Ethan Sanders, it might hurt you a bit here. He's someone who I am going to look at targeting off Ethan Sanders, I think off this draw. And I want to make some cash there. We'll have to wait and see though. But yeah, I'll get the price rise from Ethan Sanders and maybe look at Atkinson after that. Tupelotu 55, I wouldn't read into that too much. He always gets 1 try. He thinks he's the best player in the world, and then he gets brought back down to life and they lose and get pumped and you don't see him again for the rest of the game. Hamish Stewart 51, still think he's a great player. I don't think I'd go there. Again, 2RFs are aplenty, and I think Hamish Stewart, even though, and he had a line break this game, by the way. So yeah, read into that as you will. Toby Couchman, just want to see what the news is there. 43, niggling injury. We'll have to wait and see. Gulaker, Sele Flanagan, Setu 2, only 27. I had him as a reserve. Really disappointed with that because they did score twice on the right side. One of those passes could have gone to Setu 2, but Valentine Holmes was like, nah, I'm just going to score here, which was annoying, but it is what it is. I'll eat it. I'll take it. And it's just, yeah. Whatever. I most probably should have just gone Tom Chester, taken the base stats that I've been seeing. But again, I still think Setu 2's a hold, especially for this next game against the Parramatta Eels. All right, let's talk about the schmozzling and the domination of the Penrith Panthers. First of all, Nathan Cleary, 109, getting very close to a must-have. I spoke about this in the sort of wrap-up of this game when I did it individually. Do I think he's more of a must-have than Nico Hines? Yeah, I do. I mean, look what this guy does against the Sharks team that is supposed to be really good this season. This is the exact way the Sharks play. They versus an average team, they dominate, they get 40, 50 points. Then they come against a really good team and they turn into the Gold Coast Titans. And I'm sorry to say that for Sharks fans. I don't mean to be negative towards them. But if I was a Sharks fan, that's what I'd be disappointed in. When it comes to turning up, it just doesn't happen for them. The big talking point here also is like, when do you get Cleary in? I think it's very, very soon. What's his break even, by the way? 86, so you can live with that. I think you can still wait a bit. Again, I talked about going a Tanner Boyd and then going to a Cleary. I'm very scared not to own Cleary against Parramatta Melbourne, but they do still have Bulldogs away, so I still think he's like a bit of a wait and watch. But against Parramatta, that's going to be scary. Sydney Roosters is the big watch for me, being an away game. But again, you definitely want him in by round 7, which is Dolphins away, Newcastle away, Manly, Canberra away, St. George. So you want to have him for that period before Origin, but we'll wait and see. Brian To'o was amazing, especially in the first 20, 25 minutes. He was just all over it. This is exactly what he does. Someone who you can look at, but I wouldn't go to yet. A big talking point in the this 2RF FRF category. I wish we had one extra spot in 2RF FRF at the moment, but Isaiah Papali'i gets an 80-minute run. He's absolutely huge. Did absolutely nothing this game in terms of like, oh my gosh, he had a massive line break. Oh my gosh, he had a absolutely crazy try. No, it was just like full workhorse, kind of like Atavali Lasardi. Very, very similar. This is a big watch here for me, especially when Isaiah Yeo is getting limited minutes. Isaiah Yeo is only getting a 63. Isaiah Papali's getting a 79 for a $579,000 900 price tag. That is absolutely insane to me. Casey McLean did what Casey McLean does this game. I still think he's a wait and watch, and if he is someone you have in your team, it's very tough, but I would consider still trading him out, but that's just me. Again, I say consider. Dylan Edwards, 65. Again, you're not reading into that too much. We know that he performs a bit worse in Supercoach when Cleary is in the team, but still a 65 is okay to see. Nobody else here to really talk about for me in the Penrith Panthers team. I think the relevant guys we speak about are Isaiah Yeo. Jenkins actually does have some relevancy. Sorry, Jenkins, I don't mean to be rude to you there, but a 9 break even. He's just getting the tries. He's up there for someone who could easily be a top try scorer for after the season ends. Like, he could easily be in the top 3, top 5. He's really good at finishing at the line too. Like, he does the right thing, steps inside when he needs to, or just attacks the line when it's time to attack the line. So that's really, really good. So he's someone you can monitor. I still wouldn't go there if you don't have him. There's obviously better things you can do, especially with his break even currently. Sione Katoa, 72. You love to see it. He was the only person that scored for the Sharks in their 6-point loss. When I say 6-point loss, I mean they only scored 6 points in the game. Jesse Colquhoun, if you held on to him, congratulations, 69 points. That's going to be very, very nice. What's my boy's break even at? -8. Love to see it. I think he can pop off for another 50 plus this week. I think it would be really good to see him get extended minutes. I also think that there is just this sort of like realization that he's actually a really good workhorse now. Maybe he does need the extra minutes, but I hope that's the case. If it's not, it's not. Britton Nikorah, 66 off what type of game this was is really, really good. So if you have him, continue to hold. He has a 65 break even. I would still hold him. The biggest talking point for the Sharks for me is KL Iro. So this guy's just a base beast, but a 55 only with 123 break even. The problem is now is if they were versing someone like the Penrith Panthers or the Melbourne Storm, you'd be like, okay, we get rid of him. They're versing the Dolphins, who are letting in some points. They then go on to verse Canberra away, New Zealand at home, Sydney Roosters at home into a bye. Do you get rid of KL Iro? It's a very, very big decision. I'm leaning towards a yes. Now, the reason being I'm leaning towards a yes is because it's so hard to talk about this. It's just because I see them going right a lot, the Sharks. You know, the Ramian and Britton Nikorah. They just love these little short balls going right. I saw it going left a bit more this game, which was a great, great sign. It just depends. If he can come out and get an 80, I would live with the money loss on him. I really would. But if he comes out for a 50, 60 this game, I think he's a must trade afterwards. Maybe you give him one more chance and just say, look, you guys lost to the Penrith Panthers. You're going to verse the Dolphins. It should be a high scoring game. You pray that Iro is a recipient of like a try assist or a try or just has a stronger game. That's what you're looking for. That is what you're looking for. But for him, in his price tag for where he is to be a $705,900 player who we know has the ability to get over 100 points in Supercoach and the ball just really isn't getting to him a lot of the times, it's really unfortunate to see. Now, again, 39 points in base for a center wing is really, really nice. So weigh that up as you will. Maybe put in the comments below what you think you're going to do with KL Iro if you're an owner, or what your thoughts are in general. That would be really good to see. Spoke about AFB. He's an absolute trade out for this team. Unfortunate if you went there. Ramian with the 43 brought back down to earth a bit in this game, but again, they are versing the Panthers. Don't look into that too much because I actually do think Ramian looks really, really good this season. He has a break even of 0, so you're going to be making money there for sure. Nico Hines, 41. Again, they versed Penrith Panthers who were targeting him, clearly had a game plan against him. 41 for a 64 break even. I think you can still hold and you don't have to go to Hines yet, but he could pop off for another, 100 this week against the Dolphins. Billy Burns to me looks like someone who just doesn't want to pass the ball left to Iro. I think, it's really, really interesting to see because I just wish Iro got the ball a bit more. And I'm not saying this as an owner. Like there's times where I think Billy Burns should just be passing it and letting like the elusive guy take over and trying to like maybe play a bit of a support role next to them or just hoping something happens. But again, that's not happening. And Braden Trindle, 22. That's the exact type of floor you get through Braden Trindle. Again, he has a negative 23 break even. You're clearly not trading him out, and you're clearly not trading him in my opinion. Just sit back, watch, see what happens this game against the Dolphins, and go from there. Blake Brayley, we also didn't speak about Blake Brayley. 60, I think he's just, if he's in your team, I know it sucks to see Harry Grant go, bonkers in a way, but you just want to hold Blake Brayley. You've got him in here for a reason. If Harry Grant drops back down to, the average 60, 65, which he could, then Blake Brayley could be a recipient of this. Maybe Blake Brayley starts running a bit more. Maybe there's a bit of injection there. Anything could happen. It takes 1 week for things to change, so don't read into that too much. All right, 2 more games left to go. The Knights versus the Seagulls. This was the craziest game for me because not only do we have Fletcher Sharp not starting in the team, not only do we have Dylan Brown going down with I think it was an MCL or PCL, I think it was MCL, but gets a 66 this game, started to look incredible this game, gets injured. Then on top of that, you've got Kalen Ponga getting a hamstring injury, going down for an unfortunate 54 points. But then the biggest news is they win 36-16. So Manly Seagulls, out of all teams, I think are in DEFCON 5. They are in alarm mode. Luke Brooks is playing. Turbo's playing. Jamal Fogarty's playing. I think what we're realizing now is that the forwards aren't cutting it for this Seagulls team. We spoke about it before, but their front row forward pack especially is just, they don't have, like, you can't rely on a Nathan Brown in this game. You really can't. Paseka gets an unfortunate, not too bad, but a 48, you'll live with that. That's the type of player he is. But, in these games, I just think I don't want to see Luke Brooks kicking as much as he does. Jamal Fogarty needs to be the core of this team. He needs to be the Nathan Cleary of this team. And Luke Brooks had a shocker. There could be a very high chance that we see Joey Walsh coming in at some point. So that's a wait and watch. Turbo, 88 points in this type of game. I think you're very, very happy with that. The problem is they go into a bye now. You're going to have to wait, but I think he's still a hold. If you don't have him, you're not trading him in. Ola Kawatu, 64 with a try and a line break. That tells you enough, doesn't it? I think there's better 2 RFs you can look at getting. Again, do you trade him out? I think you do. I know that's crazy to say, but with the buy, I think you can just go for someone that's guaranteed to make you money and reevaluate him later on. Simpkin, 32. That's exactly why he wasn't in my team. Only 53 minutes as well, so there's the reduction of minutes for him. Again, Garrick only 36. He is a must trade. He's just gone. And you know what? It's funny in this game. They really missed Daly Cherry Evans this game. For the amount of slack people have given DCE, this is the type of game where if DCE was here, I guarantee you this scoreline would be absolutely closer. Especially when the injuries happened, Ola Kawatu scored and you thought, okay, Manly are going to come back here and it's going to be a really close game. Then they just like knock it on off a kickoff or just things go haywire. This is when a DCE, you really miss out on the experience and just that comeback effect that he could produce for a team. But sorry to the Manly supporters. It's very, very unfortunate. Or a Saab with a 12 in 80 minutes as well. Get rid of him, 104 break even. McEwen also we should speak about just slightly. 41 again. He's a trade out, but geez, not really being that super coach player we really thought about. Dylan Lucas, only a 59 in this type of game with 36 points. To me, he's an absolute trade out. I know my boy Sav started with him. He gets 50 points in base this game, but just not seeing the attack. But still, I think he's a trade out, especially with the injuries they have now. But yeah, Fletcher Hunt is also someone you can look at. He has a -5 break even. We'll have to see what he does, but I don't think you're chasing him, especially with the injuries. But I could be wrong on that one because Fletcher Hunt could be a nice little pod you go to. Last game of the week is the Dolphins versus the Titans. Titans actually winning the first half 8-0. Dolphins didn't score a single point, which is absolutely insane. Now, when you look at Herbie Farnworth's score, just realize he did absolutely nothing this game, but just offload, ran, tackle bust, and gets a 78. This is exactly why he should be in your team. However, if he's not in your team, you are completely happy with this because he has 107 break even coming into the Sharks. That is going to be really, really interesting. Hammer was a massive one this game. He actually ignited the Dolphins. He won them game, but only gets an 83. Finafuiaki, 102 points, gets a try in the first game and the second game for a -42 break even. If you have the cojones to go to him, good luck. I still prefer Leka Halasima or Helam Luki based off the draws and just based off what I've seen in the games. Avarillo does Avarillo things, 72. Tom Gilbert, 71. That's really, really nice to see. Injury news in this one is that Flegler goes down with a rib injury for a 24. He's going to be a trade out for you guys. I think you can go to like an Arama Howe or someone like that. There's plenty of options. So don't worry about that. Cobbo been very underwhelming as well. In a game like this, this is the game you were kind of targeting for your Herbie Farnworth and your Cobbo. Only getting a 37 here with a 74 break even now. That's a bit of an alarm bell. Maybe we expected a bit more. Thought Brad Schneider looked horrible in the hooker position, to be honest with you. They're really missing that. Max Plath only comes back for a 42. Katoa really hurt by the scoring changes and just in general, a bit of a poor performance from the Dolphins. Even though they get the win, I don't think their performance was that great. A 94 break even for Katoa. That's not good to see if you're an owner. I think he is a trade out. Lamelu, 58 with a 33 break even. That's okay, but yeah, nothing much to touch there. Titans, let's talk about two players here. First of all, Kinney. If you traded him out, I still think you're going to be regretting it in the later future. For now, it's okay, but a 41 break even. He gets a 56 pointer here. He's just a part of everything in this team. Arama Howe's been an absolute weapon on this team, a -38 break even. He'll be making some good cash. Cleese Haas was really, really good this game. I wish he got more minutes, but a 49 break even, can't really look at that. If you held on to Cooper Bye, well done. He went through a hole bigger than the Swiss cheese factory. I couldn't believe it. If you go and watch the highlights, he just ran through this hole that literally, I thought there were only 3 players on the field. Gets a 54, so you're happy with seeing that. A -5 break even now for Cooper Bye. Again, there are better 2RFs, but we did say over time he'll get better. Maybe we're seeing things a bit quicker here. Jojo Fafita, 52. He was really good defensively this game. Just really good in general. He's a great player. Randall, 49. I think he's someone you get rid of if you started with him. Brimson, 46. I talked about him being a bit under par in the 5'8 position. I still don't believe Brimson is a 5'8 player. I think he's a center player. I think he's someone that needs to be elusive, even a fullback player. I don't like him in the 5'8 position. That's just me. Tino, must trade. Get him out of your team. I will tell you this right now, and I thought about this while watching the game. There was 20 minutes to go. Tino came back on the field, and it looked like he just came out of a Dove commercial shower, like a shower commercial. He looked fresh. The guy looked like he wasn't, no sweat, dry skin, hair looked nice. He was on the bike. I mean, I feel like I'm just not seeing the work ethic there and the minutes. He's just a must go. And Faye Money, 44, nice this game. You'll live with that. Keep him in your team or trade him out for someone who you think is guaranteed for more cash if you want to, but I think he's a hold. And nothing much here to talk about for the Titans. And that is your round 2 wrap up. All your must-haves, your holds, people that you're like considering trading out, or your rage trades, listed them all there. I hope that has helped you guys. Again, for my trades this week, I think I'm going to be looking at exploring in the Sam Walker position. I'm going to be looking at exploring maybe KL Iro, and possibly Reed Marnie. I have $149,100 in the bank, which is super, super good to see, because that is going to be becoming very, very helpful to me. Good luck, guys. I'll be live tomorrow for the team lists video. If you do have time and you want to come over on the YouTube, I'll be doing that as a live reaction. That's what we do every Tuesday at 4 p.m. For me, it's 3 p.m., but still going to be super fun. See you guys then. I hope you enjoyed the video and the round 2 wrap up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and of course, 5-star reviews for the podcast. Thank you so much, guys. Wolfie here from the Rage Traders. Take care.